Hi everyone! In today's video we are going to play with resin again. And you can see here a smaller 30 by 30 square canvas which I just painted a dark color. I don't know if it was black, it was just dark. And next to it you can see my 1:1 epoxy resin which Resinate has sent over to me. And for this project I wanted to use the rest amount that I had left in the bottles. And this is also telling me that I have to get some new stuff. This resin is just wonderful. It has a working time of only 15 minutes, so not that long, but it also cures pretty quickly, which is great, especially if your table is not level. I'm on my way on fixing this, so I ordered myself a Wasserwaage. That's how we call it in German. It's just this little scale thingy that has an air bubble in this glass tube, so you can see if something is level. I should have bought something like this about, I don't know, a year ago, but it's never too late, right? And the reason behind this project was actually that I had some dark purple leftover metallic acrylic paints from another project that I did, and I really loved these purple metallics, which I just mixed up from my metallics paints that I have. And those are also linked down below in the description if you want to check them out. So I had this paint left over and I thought it might look cool along with some gold and some white for a popping contrast perhaps. And what I wanted to try is not a geode this time. I wanted to go fancy and try a dirty pour. I did something like that a couple of weeks, months back, I think, when I tested the pigments from Resinate. So I want to see if I can get something pretty out of this color palette, and yeah, I just wanted to play around. And yeah, I mixed up my resin. It is a 1:1 mixture, so the same amount of resin as it is hardener. You mix it around and let it sit a little while to get rid of some of the air bubbles that you mix into this. And then I split it into the cups that you can see here. Basically, this is all magic. You add the colors that you want, and this was my metallic acrylics, which I've told you, and this gold pigments that you can also see here. This is just a pure gold pigment. There is no chemicals attached whatsoever, just the pigment, and it has a really cool effect. If you work with resin, just make sure when you add acrylic paints or some whatever paints containing water, you are not allowed to use too much of it because it will make your resin cure way quicker and it gets gooey and it just reacts weirdly after this. So the maximum amount is between 5 to 10% amount of paint compared to the amount of resin that you have, and this normally is completely enough. And it's a bit different with color pigments. You can basically use whatever amount you would like to use. It normally does not react with the resin at all, so it is not changing its behavior. It is of course making it thicker when you use large amount of pigments or glitter and stuff. So this resin is going to become thicker on its own, which is natural, but no chemical change to it. And the white that I'm using is a resin pigment paste, which is actually designed for resin. They come in different colors, of course. If you plan to work with resin on a larger scale, so you're going to use much of the resin, you make many projects with resin, this is something you might want to look into. I bought me some colors, I think a year ago, just the basics, because there are not so many super fancy colors that I could get here, but they are all really pretty. You only need a very little amount of the color to add to the resin and everything works brilliantly. So you will get a super opaque color, which is awesome, and you can mix those colors in between to create different shades. So this stuff is really cool. It also is available in metallics. So once everything was mixed, I just made sure that as many air bubbles were out as possible. So I torched over it a couple of times, just very quickly, just to pop the air bubbles that are sitting on the top. And then I poured everything into this a bit larger black cup. This is actually the same cup size that I used for my ring pour 3-cup tool. So those come with our Chinese food. So whenever we go convenience and don't cook ourselves and we eat Chinese, this is where the rice and the sauce stuff is sitting in. I just keep everything. And this is something I would recommend you doing as well, just for environmental reasons. You know, this resin and acrylic pouring is really plastic intense. You know what I mean? We use a lot of cups and stuff, and plastic to cover our tables, so this is not really helping so much for the environment. So I keep as many plastic cups as I can get. So from the yogurt, from I don't know, whatever. So wherever I have something fitting to the needs that I'm going to use, I will just keep it. And as you can see, my cups are already quite messy. I usually also keep these for a couple of times. So when you have resin in there, it is curing and everything is perfectly solid. If you have acrylics in there, you can just let it dry and use again. Or if the paint layer of acrylics is getting too thick in a cup, you can just peel it off on most of these cups. So I reuse them as often as I can, just to avoid wasting too much of the plastics. So just perhaps something for every one of you pouring guys as well. I'm pretty sure many of you do this already as well. But anyways, so I just used the mixed amount of resin that I had mixed and put it into my black cup. The color is not relevant, of course. And I just dirty poured it over the canvas. And this was pretty cool to look at. And what you can see here is really beautiful. I did not expect to have cells. Well, I could have expected them because of the metallics, but I never had this happen with resin in such a beauty. And at this point I really did not want to touch it anymore, because I loved this celled up color scheme that you can see here, but I did not have enough resin to cover all the gaps, so I somehow had to do something to it, and yeah, I needed to stretch it around, although it was destroyed, and it really was a pity. I loved how it looked. If I had more resin, I would have just mixed up more and poured around it, just hoping to get something similar in the second attempt as well. But I did not have, and I did not want to mix two different resins together, so I do have some amount of the art resin left. But curing times are different, chemicals are different, so I would have not even wanted to try this, because it totally would have messed up things. So yeah, I stretched it around and hoped for the best. I was pretty sure that those are going to be stretched until no cell is left. Luckily, I liked the result though. So although the cells were mostly gone, I liked what happened, and some more new cells were popping up, which was great as well. I love the color scheme. I probably would have loved the purple to be even darker. Next time. And when everything was done, I just thought about what could make this thing even prettier. Yes, you're right. Gold leaf. Gold leaf saves everything. So I just grabbed some gold leaf and applied it to the bottom edge of the canvas, which I thought was the perfect place to fit it. What I did, I just put one of the leaves between my fingers and crumbled it and let it fall on there, just to have a more random look. And then I also used some more to tap onto this to have a more solid gold layer. Because when you crumble it, of course, the light breaks differently and it's not as shiny gold. And I wanted to have some of those, and I wanted to have some really shiny even parts of the gold leaf. But you can see here what I did. Good thing the gold leaf sticks perfectly on the resin as long as this is sticky or wet. So there is nothing more that I need to do to fix it or to fix it onto the surface. Let it cure and pretty. I really loved how this turned out. Perhaps I would have loved some more white on this, so pure white for the contrast reasons. But well, I really loved the result. It was fun to make, and I will for sure try this a couple more times when I have more resin. And of course, I will be super happy when my table is finally level. I hope for the best, keep your fingers crossed. And yeah, this was basically everything that I did for this project. So once this was cured, I added a second thin layer of resin just to make it an even and shiny glossy coat. Because of the gold leaf addition stuff, you had this some texture. So lately I'm starting to not be that offensive against texture, so I really start to like it. But when it comes to a resin piece like this one, so no geode or something, I think it looks better when it's perfectly smooth. So I added a second layer to finalize it, and really great. I hope you love it too. I hope you had fun watching, although this was just easy demonstration video. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, please make sure to look at my recent videos as well, because there is so many cool stuff among them. And besides those about 175 videos now, so there is a lot to have a look at, and I would really love if you give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and even better, subscribe to my channel to not miss out any of my new coming stuff. In the next weeks I will also have some more realism portrait paintings coming, because I had some commissions which I can show you. And there will also be some German voiceover videos, because I had a couple requests from my German followers which I want to fulfill, of course, and therefore I will use some of the footage you already know in the English version and voice over it in German, just to help them out wherever I can. So just to let you know to not wonder. So yeah, thank you again for your time. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, please leave me below in the comment section as usual, and you will also find all the materials that I've used in the comment box below. And yeah, just subscribe, please subscribe. Again, thanks for watching, and other than that, I wish you a great day. Bye bye.